The first time Kale saw her, she was surrounded by giants. In the open cargo yard of an interstellar labor colony on Vega 9, hulking forms of every species worked, shouted, and stomped across the synthetic terrain. Among them was a creature barely 5 feet tall, her limbs wiry with coiled muscle, moving like a thread through steel. Despite her size, she lifted fusion crates with ease, her body rippling with effort and precision. Kale watched from a distance, puzzled. Not because she was small, but because the others glared at her as if she were diseased. He asked a fellow human worker, "Who's she?" That's Yelani. Don't let the size fool you, she's stronger than half the crew, but she's freak-born. Freak-born. Kale frowned. Born on a high-gravity moon. Bones like carbon alloy, heart like a fusion pump. But her people think she's defective, too small. So she got dumped here. Boss keeps her 'cause she's useful. Kale looked again. She was coiling an energy cable thicker than her thigh. Face impassive, body taut. She doesn't talk much, the man added, already walking off. But Kale was intrigued. Later that cycle, as twilight shimmered over the orbital rings, he approached her. She was eating alone, her food ration untouched. Up close, her skin was a pale blue shimmer, almost translucent. Her eyes were large and violet, pupils like a cat's. "You're Yelani, right?" he said, sitting down across from her. She looked up, saying nothing. "I'm Kale. I'm new here. Just got reassigned from the Atlas belt." Still nothing. He pointed to her untouched tray. "You not hungry?" She finally spoke, voice low but steady. "Food here is inefficient. No protein. No density. Sounds like you need something with punch." She didn't smile, but her eyes flicked up to meet his, curiosity stirring. Middle. Over the next several weeks, Kale made it a point to talk to her during meal breaks, after shifts, during tool checks. Yelani never initiated conversation, but she listened. And slowly, she began replying with more than just one-word answers. He learned her people, the Titrelli, were a proud warrior species. Strength was worshipped, but only in bulk. On her homeworld, being small was considered a deformity. Despite her superior muscle density and speed, she'd been labeled non-viable and exiled at 12. She had lived alone on derelict moons, scavenging to survive until she was caught during a smuggling raid and given a choice: exile or labor colony. "What would you have done?" she asked Kale one night, sitting beside him on the overlook platform as automated loaders moved below like glowing insects. He shrugged. "Exile, probably. You would have died." "Yeah," he chuckled. "But at least I'd have seen a sky that wasn't steel." Yelani tilted her head. "You humans are strange. Always chasing something more. Even if it kills you." He looked at her. "And you're not." She was quiet, then admitted. "I used to chase approval. Then survival." "I don't know." He said, "Maybe it's time you chase something else." "Like what?" Kale hesitated, then smiled. "Something worth finding." She didn't respond, but that night she waited for him after shift change. From then on, they trained together in the auxiliary gym. Yelani moved like a precision weapon, her fighting style fast and brutal. Kale wasn't bad himself. Former military engineer turned cargo specialist, but he found himself on the floor more often than not. "I thought you were supposed to go easy on your friends," he groaned after one sparring match. "I am going easy. That's terrifying." But even as bruises formed, something else took root. Trust. One day, a group of Zarnian enforcers, oversized insectoids with bad tempers, tried to corner Yelani during an equipment dispute. Kale stepped in despite being outsized 2-1. He didn't get far. One swipe cracked a rib, but Yelani moved with ferocity, a blur of fists and knees and silent rage. When it was over, both enforcers were down and Kale was slumped against a wall, grinning through the pain. "You idiot," she hissed, helping him up. "Yeah," he wheezed. "But I got your back. You are reckless. Fragile." "I'm human," he said with a smirk. "We love a good fight. Especially if it's for someone we care about." He paused, then unexpectedly touched his chest. "You are strange," she murmured. "But you are not weak." Later that month, whispers spread. A ship was coming. A Tichrelli delegation, military dignitaries and genetic scientists, were arriving to inspect the colony's outlier assets. Rumor had it they were looking for genetic anomalies, discarded offspring with potential for weaponization. Kale saw the change in Yelani. Her shoulders tightened. Her speech became clipped. "Are you worried?" he asked one night. "They exiled me. Now they want to use me. You don't have to go with them. I may not have a choice." "You always have a choice." She looked at him, really looked at him. "You believe that." "I do. And I'll help you fight for it." Climax. The delegation arrived. Towering figures, horned and armored, descended from a warship that blocked half the sky. They scanned the laborers like livestock. When they reached Yelani, the lead emissary's eyes narrowed. "This is the one." Tech nodded. "Confirmed. Bone density at 3.2x standard. Heart endurance triple peak Tichrelli levels. Viable candidate." Yelani said nothing, but Kale could see her fists trembling. "She belongs to us," the emissary said coldly. "Prepare her for transfer." Kale stepped forward. "She's not a thing. She's a person." The envoy scoffed. "You are a soft-blooded human. Stand aside." "I won't." Guards moved toward him, but before they reached Kale, Yelani stepped in front. Her voice was steel. "I choose my own path." "You do not speak in our presence," barked a general. But Yelani had already turned her back on them. They surged forward. What followed wasn't a fight. It was a storm. Yelani's rage exploded. Every suppressed emotion, every scar from childhood, every insult and exile and whisper of worthlessness unleashed in brutal, perfect violence. She tore through elite warriors like tissue, using speed, leverage, and impossible strength. And then Kale, bleeding and bruised but alive, stood beside her as the Tirelli were forced to retreat, defeated not just by her body but her will. Ending. The colony buzzed for days. The Tichrelli delegation left humiliated, recording their loss as an uncooperative specimen encounter. But Yelani was free. Truly free. She stood beside Kale on the cargo platform weeks later, watching a new sunrise. "I still don't understand humans," she said softly. "Good," Kale replied. "We're best when we're unpredictable." She turned to him. "You didn't see me as defective." "I saw your strength," he said. "Not your size. Not what they said you were. Just you." Her hand brushed his. "And that gave me more than freedom." He smiled. "It gave you something worth chasing." "No," she said, stepping closer. "It gave me something worth keeping." And in that quiet moment, beneath an alien sky and the hum of distant stars, they leaned into each other, not as freak-born or fragile, not as warrior or exile, but as something shared. Whole. Together.